right. Welcome once again. We do have a report here for deployment. It's an employee contacts report. Assuming you want to set out a number of employee contacts from their emails, email address, probably physical address, the city, first name and last name, marital status, gender, and say you have an HR environment that will need to work with this kind of information on a very regular basis. Now, it may not be so easy for each HR staff to probably get to the database and dig out this information. Perhaps they may not even have the ability to design queries that will extract this kind of information in the kind of table that we can see here, this clean. Now, there are options. There are reporting deployment options. We talked about deployment. You can email a report. You can deploy a report to a network server, a network share file. There are really lots of ways of doing things. So what I did, one, I came and designed this report. In Business Intelligence Studio. Of course, any report works with a data source. You understand that we have a series of data sources here on which the data is built. I've told you in the past that our data sources are created in such a manner that they link straight to the database. We create connection strings to the database by editing the connection string dialog box, and then get into the server name and specify the database and test the connection. When everything is working, we're good to go. And we normally ensure that we test the data sources before we get to run the report. We have a series of report data. Let me just put this a little closer. Yes, we have a series of report data. I created a data source. I've told you the way to create a data source. Put parameters of the gender, address line, city, first name, middle name, last name, and then created these as columns for our report. Now that's all about design. I deployed the report, came passed in the entries of the web address on which I deployed the report. But now the issue here is, how do you deliver it? It may not end here. You may not want to have it end here. You may want to create a subscription. The way to deploy a report is to create a subscription. Now, the subscription options give us report delivery options. They also give us subscription processing options, where you're able to select a schedule. You are in a position to specify whether you want the report to be scheduled for delivery hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, for each day, the time. All those options are right available for you. But here in this case, we will first of all go back. You can also specify the start and end dates of the report delivery. That's if you're sending it by email. We also have the option of either delivering the report to an email, to a user's email, or delivering it to a Windows file share. This could be network share folders. So you specify the name, the file name, you type here the path, that's if it's going to be delivered to a network shared folder. Then the report format, very important. We have a series of formats. We have CSV, which looks like Excel. We have Acrobat, HTML. With Excel, we have HTML, which is a web archive. Then we also have Word. So it's really up to you to specify. If we say probably PDF, then you also have to pass in the credentials. Now, when it comes to the credentials, I did a bit of background preparation here. I did some kind of preparation. I went and passed in the parameters of authentication from Active Directory. For those of you who are computer wizards, you know what I mean when I say Active Directory. Users and computers went in there and then specified the users that must be authorized to log into the report server system to be able to have the data source connect data. So all that was it, and you can really see the users here. Lots of users under the domain. When we come down here to users, I use the administrator credentials, which will really for the most part be allowed by any report server, but if in case it's a specified user, will still use Active Directory to pass in the parameters. So just use that to pass in the credentials for running the report, and when you have when you're really through with everything, then you are able to for example, if it comes to email settings, you need to specify the email. Say, let's say we're saying John, the email is John Doe at kiassociates.com. Specify that. Go ahead, carbon copy just in case you need, and pass in all those parameters, and you will have the report scheduled for delivery. In our case, where you say maybe you need to have a series of letters, like in the customer letter example that we saw, you may want to have a set. You may want to have a set of deliveries for people. Each person, you may want to have each person get his own email as per the customer statement. So in this case, you will have to enter some first of all, make a connection string and then pass in credentials. When you have passed in credentials, you have a set of select statements, an SQL select statement that you'll pass in here, which will be able to return a list of email addresses and configure them to the respective users based on the owner of the customer letter that you want it to be delivered to. Other than that, you don't really need to create a data-driven subscription, other than for instances where you have really so many users, all users or people you want to have the mails delivered. And basically, really, that's it. I cannot demonstrate the email delivery here because I have my SMTP server not up and running. So probably, but at least you can still get the idea of the possibility of creating a report. Remember that the kind of report that we intend to deploy is the employee contracts report. This report which we did run, employee contracts report, I'll go back briefly. Yep, this kind of report. If you want it remaining here at the URL web server, then it's still okay. All you need to do is just select the export format and then have it selected for delivery. That's all for now, and thanks for listening.